Hello and welcome back to the Villa Filler podcast. I'm riding solo today for this transfer rumour mill. Dan is at a wedding. Don't worry, he will actually appear in the video fairly shortly to give his thoughts on what is an interesting transfer rumour. I think is fair to say Calvin Bassey of Rangers has been linked with Aston Villa over the past week or so. We've not really been able to come around to this. I know Dan and I have spoke a few times about getting this one done. I know Dan has seen Bassey a lot more than I have and is significantly well informed regarding Bassey when you compare him to me. But I've done a deep dive on the numbers while Dan's away, just to give you guys a bit of a rundown and what we can expect from Bassey himself. Now, as well as that, I have also been informed by friends who are Rangers fans. Shout out to Chris and obviously Scott as well, two Rangers fans we had on the podcast when Stephen Gerrard actually came in. We've been assured this guy is going to the very top. It's only a matter of time and until he makes the step up to the Premier League. And there's not really been a fee banded about from what I can see, but from what the guys have told me, they'd say it would be at the very minimum £25 million that would prize him out of Glasgow. And that is because he actually has about 3 or 4 years left on his current deal. Only 22 years of age. And what's interesting about Bassey is the variety of positions he can play. He came into Rangers, from what I understand, as a left back to kind of compete with Barisic in that department, and ended up pipping him to that when Barisic was having a bit of a lull in form during last season. But due to defensive injuries and a mini defensive crisis I think that Rangers had, they actually saw him play left-sided centre-back. Sound familiar? We've got one Tyrone Mings, our club captain, who was once a left back, is now a centre back. So there's an interesting parallel there. And I think it's a risky one. I think Dan mentions in the clip that we'll include later, he got plucked from Leicester's academy. He didn't cost them a thing in transfer fees, which is remarkable when you consider we could be spending anywhere upwards of £25 million on this man. But you know, I think most of you guys will have seen him during the Europa League final versus Frankfurt and really liked what you saw. And me too. And I think that would have been a lot of people's first introduction to him. And if it was, then what a first introduction. I can't expect many of us to be watching the SPL regularly unless you are a Rangers or a Celtic fan and you're watching the games, which is fair enough. But Nigerian player, which again is something that we've got Marv, we've got Bertie. I'm just trying to think of other African players because I think it's often not something that is looked at, but I think commercially there is an opportunity to sort of grow a fan base within a country and a community when you sign a player and you can grow in that specific market. I think we saw it with the women's team. I can't remember her name, but there was a Japanese player. She's moved on to Arsenal. The name's slipped me, so remind me in the comments, guys. But, you know, these signings are made to, as I said, to kind of grow commercial efforts in specific countries. And if we can gain more of a Nigerian fan base, that's absolutely brilliant because, you know, they're all over social media. We saw it when we had Samatta guys, how mad they were every time Samatta didn't play in the comments on Facebook and stuff like that. So it's an interesting one. But no, Bassey, I think, there's potential. There is potential there. The fee is quite a lot. And would he come in straight away and supersede Tyrone Mings? That I'm not sure. But again, you know, the fact he can play in a variety of positions. I mean, in the Europa League last season, he made 12 appearances, 26 appearances in the SPL and a few cup appearances, splashed in here and there, started 12 in the league. The stats, they're a bit of a difficult one to kind of look at when you consider that he's playing in multiple positions. I think if you look, you know, he's averaging around 61 touches, creating 2 big chances per 90 with 83% pass accuracy per game, with 92% pass accuracy in your own half. Again, I'm a massive advocate whenever we do these transfer rumors or whenever we analyse a player or anything. I want that to be at least 80%, I think. And you can look at that and comfortably go, okay, he's a decent passer of the ball. Responsible for a fair few clean sheets with Rangers as well, I think. And yeah, I mean, you know, you look at the stats again, errors leading to shot, only one errors leading to goal, none. That can be quite a misleading stat. I think, when we looked at Tyrone the other day, when we were doing the Diego Carlos transfer rumour mill, I think it only said he had like one error that led directly to goal, and a few people have disputed that in the comments. So I'd be interested to know how they actually work this out. But no, but I mean, it's an exciting link, and it's funny because I think transfer marks or SofaScore certainly have him down as valued at €1 million, which is mental when you consider what my friend Chris had valued him at 25 million. So I wonder where we'll kind of meet with Rangers on that fee, because he is kind of young, only 22 years old, but the versatility is interesting. But I think one thing on that is when you are so young and you're playing in a variety of positions. I think I'm right in saying Bassey has mainly played left back throughout his career, so much like Tyrone really. And I could understand criticisms of Tyrone, and they are completely fair, but he only played centre half when he first came to the Villa. He hadn't played centre half before then throughout his career. So there's learning a new position properly. He can slot in at left back, and we've seen him do that. But we know there's a learning curve that comes with that. And fundamentally, I think it's a bit of a risk, personally, as someone who hasn't seen an awful lot of him, but has only heard good things. I would say it is a bit of a risk because you don't know what you're going to get from Scotland. Saying that, though, we've had the likes of Virgil van Dijk obviously come down and thrive. John McGinn, even for us, and do absolutely wonderfully. So there is talent up there in Scotland. It's just going to be interesting to see how that translates on the pitch with Calvin Bassey. He's averaging 0.8 successful dribbles per 90, which, as a fullback, ideally you would want more than that. He's winning around 60% of his duels per 90, which is, again, you'd expect that for somebody he's a big lad. I mean, 185 centimeters, that's quite tall in feet. That's like what, 6'1". So he's a big lad. He's a physical presence, and I think he could be moulded into that centre half. It'd be interesting to see, because obviously left back we have Dean, and Tiggs is to come back and will probably leave at some point. If we're going to get another left back, is it going to be somebody who is as good or better than Dean? Because, we said on another podcast, and I said on Twitter the other day, if you're signing players, they have to be better than you already have in most positions. Is he better than Luca Dean? I don't know. Or is someone like an Aaron Hickey? I think he already comes in at a high level and obviously has years on his side to supersede Dean, which I think would be a smart signing. So I'd be interested to see where this Bassey one goes. Guys, let me know in the comment section down below. But before we go, it'd be rude not to hear from Dan. So here's Dan sharing his thoughts on this transfer just briefly.
Hey Dan, mate. Hi guys. Sorry I can't be there to talk through this transfer with you, because it's actually one that I was really excited to get into. I watched a lot of Rangers, so I've seen naturally a lot of Calvin Bassey over the last 12 months. He's a player that they actually plucked straight out of Leicester's academy, and his development since then has been quite amazing. He can play in a variety of positions, and he's actually one of the few players in that Rangers backline that I'd actually take at the Villa. Obviously, we've been linked with kind of Goldson and the like, but Bassey for me is the standout. He's everyone's favourite player all of a sudden after watching him play in the Europa League final. He was absolutely stellar, which I think shows he can compete on that stage. And I don't think we give the SPL enough credit for the quality of player that you can actually pluck from that league. We know ourselves. I mean, look at John McGinn, guys like that have come down from the Scottish leagues, come into the Premier League, and have actually taken that step up quite nicely. So Calvin Bassey's got age on his side. He's someone that I think Villa fans would be really keen on. It'd be interesting to see whether we manage to get a hold of him.
So guys, let us know your thoughts. Thank you very much, Dan, for chiming in. Hope you're doing well, brother. And yeah, if you enjoyed this podcast, hit a like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more. Guys, your support on the podcast whenever we hit transfer rumour season is absolutely crazy. So thank you guys ever so much. Keep it coming, and up the Villa.